Hello and welcome to this Betfair weekend preview. Now we're looking ahead to this weekend's Irish football action. There's a big cup final and of course there's the Airtricity League action as well. Daniel McDonnell from Betfair in Ireland joins us to discuss that. And let's start with Friday night's game. It's top of the table Sligo Rovers travelling to Bray Wanderers, isn't it, Daniel?
Yeah, it is. I mean, Sligo Rovers at this stage are well in control of the league title. They have been the form side all year. They've only lost one game in the league, and really, it's theirs to lose at this stage. And yeah, they come up against a Bray side that's struggling against relegation, and Sligo would be fairly confident of their chances. Although the only sort of caveat is that they actually did struggle in their previous game against Bray. It was a 1-1 draw in Sligo, which was one of Bray's better results of the season. So Sligo certainly will be confident, but they've had more struggles with Bray than they have with other teams across the season.
So which way do you see this one going then? What would be the bet for you anyway? A game, I understand, with potentially with goals in it, is that right? Yeah,
certainly. I mean, Bray this season, the average goals per Bray game this year has been 3. They've played 25 times and there's been 75 goals in their games. They've conceded 45. They're one of the poorer defences in the league, but they've actually scored more goals than any of the other teams in the bottom half of the table. So they're decent that way. Sligo, having maybe been squeezing out wins at the start of the season, have become more clinical in recent weeks. They've won 5 of their last 7 games. And in those 5 games, they've scored more than 3 goals, and they've also scored twice in the first half in all of those games. So in terms of the play here, I think certainly over 2.5 goals is a real play in this game. And I think Sligo, in the half-time, full-time, there's going to be no value on Sligo to win the game, but certainly maybe a little bit more value in terms of Sligo half-time, full-time, because they have got into the habit of, I suppose, efficiently killing off teams early on, rather than maybe labouring it as they did earlier in the year.
OK, so that's the bet for that one, over 2.5 goals and the half-time, full-time Sligo, because they tend to strike early. And tell us about this cup final on Saturday night, the EA Sports Cup final. English manager involved in that one.
Yeah, Brian Laws has just taken over. His official title is Director of Football, but he's effectively the manager for the remainder of the season. He's been out of work since he managed Burnley for their second half of their Premier League season when Owen Coyle left. Now, it didn't go so well there, but yeah, he's kind of just been thrust into this role, and very unusual that he comes into a League Cup final. So yeah, they're up against Drogheda, who are second in the league, and the previous manager probably wouldn't have been sacked if they were behind Drogheda in the league at this stage. But Drogheda are very much a surprise package. They were expected to be relegation contenders almost this year, and they've ended up being title challengers. Now, in terms of looking at this game, the strange thing about it is that Shamrock Rovers have actually beaten Drogheda 3 times this year. It's one of the teams that they've actually done extremely well against. So in terms of assessing the market, Rovers will be favourites for the game. But they also have a good record against Drogheda this term, so you'd have to be confident of Brian Laws getting off to a winning start.
OK, so Brian Laws and Shamrock Rovers to win that one, over 2.5 goals in the other game. Anything else to focus on this weekend, Daniel?
Yeah, well, I suppose I should say about the Shamrock Rovers Drogheda game that recent cup finals in Ireland have a tendency to go the distance. So maybe in terms of, while I am sort of confident about a Rovers win, I think maybe, in terms of the markets of Rovers to win an extra time, I think it might be something to look at. Drogheda are quite good at frustrating teams, and although they have struggled to frustrate Shamrock Rovers this year, I think they're set up for this game. I would expect Rovers, maybe with a new manager, they've been defensively quite poor this year, and that's something they're going to work on this week. That's what he said in his press conference today. So, I think there could be some value in looking at this game to go the distance, but then Shamrock Rovers to take it an extra time. So there could be some value in actually laying Shamrock Rovers in 90 minutes if they are quite a short trading price. But I do think they will come away with the cup, but this is a game that could go all the way.
Daniel, thanks very much indeed for your time. Pleasure to talk to you. That's it from this Betfair weekend preview. We were looking ahead to the weekend's Irish action.